Okay, let's jump right in. We've got some really interesting sources to look at today, all focused on the electric vehicle giant BYD. Feels like they're everywhere now.
Absolutely. We're going to take a deep dive into what these materials tell us about BYD's, well, current position, what's driving their success, and also this kind of curious situation online.
Right. So the mission here is to piece together the story from these sources, BYD's rise, maybe their potential in a place like Italy, and yeah, what's happening with this online commentary and the company's reaction.
Exactly. We want to unpack the core insights you can get from reading these together.
So first off, these sources seem to suggest BYD isn't just, in the EV race, they're actually leading it in some ways.
That's right. One source makes it pretty clear, says BYD has actually overtaken Tesla in global EV sales.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, but what's really interesting, and the sources dig into this, isn't just the numbers, it's how they got there.
Ah, the strategy behind it.
Precisely. These sources really credit BYD's success to, well, getting into the electric game early and, crucially, pouring money and effort into R&D. Like, consistently.
R&D specifically in.
Especially in advanced battery technology. The way it's framed is less like they just caught up and more like they built this fundamental groundwork years ago.
And that's paying off now.
It seems so, yeah. In terms of their products and just their sheer scale.
That makes a lot of sense, having that core tech, especially batteries, right from the start.
Yeah.
Okay, so shifting focus a bit, one source zeroes in on Italy. What do they say about BYD's chances or, hurdles there?
Yeah, this one's interesting because it looks beyond just, is the car nice?
Hmm,
It does mention seeing a BYD Atto 2, calls it beautiful, and adds presumably reliable.
presumably. All right.
But then it pivots straight to the practical stuff. For BYD to really make inroads, to expand properly in Italy, the source stresses how absolutely vital it is to have a service network.
You mean like repairs, maintenance?
Exactly. Widespread, easy to access, affordable. Without that basic support system, the argument goes, even a great car will have a tough time against the established players.
Right. People need to know they can get it fixed easily.
Totally. But if they do get that service piece right, this source predicts you'll start seeing a lot more BYDs on Italian roads.
Okay, interesting. Now, this is where it gets a bit different. One source brings up, well, online discussions. Critics.
Yes, this adds another dimension. The sources highlight that, kind of alongside all the market success, there's this other thing happening online. One specifically mentions what it calls too many professional detractors on social media.
Professional detractors.
Yeah.
So suggesting it's maybe organized criticism?
That's the implication from that particular source, yeah. A sort of negativity or critique that seems coordinated.
And how are the sources saying BYD is handling this?
Well, another source is quite blunt about it. It suggests BYD is meeting this online stuff by showing its muscle and lawyers.
Okay, so muscle and lawyers. That's
Yeah,
correct.
it is. So the picture you get from combining these is there's negative commentary online, maybe some of it is professional, and the company's response, reportedly, involves using legal or other forceful methods.
And that connects back to something else one of the sources mentioned, right?
Mm.
About information itself.
Exactly. That source makes a strong point. Information needs to be clear and truthful. It argues that if it isn't, it basically becomes propaganda.
I see.
So you have this online dynamic, the company's reported response, and this principle about truth and information. They're all presented together as part of BYD's current reality, according to these sources.
So if we pull back and look at all this from the sources, what's the big picture for you?
Well, it shows a company hitting the top spot, partly through smart early bets on core tech like batteries, but also their future growth, say in Italy, really hinges on nailing practical things like service.
Right, the fundamentals.
And then, layered on top of all that business stuff, they're apparently grappling with this whole complex world of online perception, criticism, and using, well, pretty strong tools like legal action in response.
It really drives home that succeeding today, especially for a huge global company, is way more than just having a good product. You've got market strategy, operations.
And this whole battlefield of online narrative and how you manage it, sometimes it seems quite assertively.
Yeah, it highlights these massive, multifaceted pressures.
Definitely.
So it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? When you consider these sources, how does that struggle for clear, truthful information that one source talked about actually work when big companies, reportedly, push back hard against online critics? What does that whole dynamic where online debate meets corporate legal teams mean for how you try to understand and evaluate companies in these super fast-moving areas like EVs? Something to mull over.